Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse AZRAEL figure. And I expect written and verbal apologies from every single person who told me I was overly harsh on the first wave of DC figures from McFarlane. This figure shows very clearly that they can do much better. This figure, with the exception of a few issues, which we will talk about, of course, this is a review, this figure, it's almost perfect. It is exactly what all of the other ones should have been. I mean, they shouldn't have looked like AZRAEL. I need to be clear, some of you guys out there make me worry sometimes, but this is exactly what they should have been producing all along. They were fully capable of it. Everyone who said, oh, they need time to figure it out. McFarlane Toys is not a new company. They have it figured out. It's just like the first wave of Mortal Kombat figures was butts, and then they made awesome figures. The Doomslayer was butts, and then they made the Marauder, which was way better. Did they need to learn every single time? I don't think so. I think they rushed things out to market that weren't finished. Anyway, this figure is exceptional. That's enough of me ranting about that. This figure is exceptional in almost every way. Let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 7¼ inches tall, which makes him pretty close to 18 centimeters. And those of you that aren't familiar with this are probably thinking he has very strange proportions. He does, but they're almost exactly accurate. Let me grab the package and show you, because the first batch of DC Multiverse figures from them, the characters didn't match the reference. Oh, that's figures. The characters didn't match the reference image at all. I'll find one online. I forgot that their image on the package doesn't line up. Or I mean, it lines up, but you can't see anything. So I'll show you the one online. This is the styling that these guys are supposed to have. This particular version of AZRAEL looks just like this. They nailed it. It's really, really well done. And as far as the aesthetics go, aside from accuracy, which is great, this thing's pretty good. The only thing that stands out as a negative right off the bat, the knees being a different color, is pretty obvious. Other than that, this thing looks really good. There's a nice black wash going on with this black loincloth thing that he has going on, this whole middle torso area. It looks really good. It's one of the best wash jobs I've seen on a figure. And then they went in and did the gold detail work. It's so nice. It's so clean. Oh man, it's so good. Yeah, the little red thing could be centered a little bit better, but I mean, it's still, what, 20 to 25 bucks depending on where you get it. It's so well done. They even did a nice wash on the gold. I said nice a bunch, but it's true. There's a wash on the gold. Looks really, really good. The paintwork on the face is clean as heck. Has the right look. The gold around the hood is very good. The gauntlets, everything just looks so good on this guy. It's so clean. The sculpt is good. The paints are good. By the way, Marvel Legends Mr. Sinister. Remember when I said they could have done so much better with that cape? This is exactly the same kind of cape as Mr. Sinister. Fewer pieces, so if they just took like 2 of these on each side, I might buy more of these guys just to redo Sinister's cape, because this is exactly what it should have looked like. I mean, yeah, it's still flat, but at least there's some depth to it. These aren't pinched flat like Sinister. It's so much better. Very, very well done, McFarlane. By the way, everybody who keeps typing McFarlane with a D instead of an E at the end, it's McFarlane, not McFarland, just so that you're aware. This is excellent looking. It looks almost perfect. If it wasn't for the knees, it would be perfect from an aesthetic standpoint. Reasonably perfect. Reasonable expectation of perfection, given it's a mass-produced figure. I'm giving this a 9. For sure, without a doubt, a 9. It's exactly what it should look like. It's so good. So much better than previous releases. Now, as far as accessories go, we do get the little worthless display stand. I'm not going to get it out. I'll show you here. The little black ones in there that don't really do anything because they're too dang small, and they're just... I don't know why they bother. Does anybody use those for figures this size? I could see for like G.I. Joes or something, like the old school kind. But even then, like these big guys, that little stand, it barely helps and doesn't look good as far as I'm concerned. Let me know what you think. We do get the trading card, which is just the thing in here, so, or that same image. But then the accessory that matters is we have his big sword. his big Claymore style sword with the fire accessory, which is so nice. I love the fire accessory. It fits on the sword wonderfully, but the fire itself is sculpted and colored very well. It's in a nice translucent yellow plastic with some orange on there. It looks so nice, and when the light catches it, it actually shimmers a little bit. Oh, it's so good. But here's one of the things I like about it, additional things, is you can flip it around and put it on the other way. I probably didn't thread it through properly. You have to thread it through properly or it won't work. But you can put it on the other way, so if you want to have his sword down with the flame going up, you can do that. And you can almost never do that with flame accessories on swords. I don't know why they always do it that way, but that's awesome. Like if you wanted to stick it into somebody and have the fire going up, that'd be cool. Or if you even just wanted to put it in his hand with the fire going up, that would be cool. So I love that accessory. I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10 for accessories. I think that's fine. I'd like some alternate fist hands maybe, but still, that's pretty good. Or a better display base, something. Whatever, 8 is still good. So time for the articulation. Some of the earlier figures did okay with the articulation, but it was a lot of ugly stuff going on, and this one has a few issues, but we're gonna go over it anyway. So the hood is a mostly separate piece from the head, and it's squishy, and you can move the head around very nicely. It's on what feels like a single ball peg, but you really shouldn't have any issue. It definitely rotates no problem. It leans forward, back. You really have all the range you need, and that's fine. It works really well. This doesn't encumber him too much. The shoulder armor, it's pretty good. That's fine. The shoulders are on a ball peg. Again, you can see how it shifts around in there, and you can kind of see the floating cap. This right here, we have on the other side as well. Obviously, this shoulder armor gets in the way, so I'm gonna focus on this side. I mean, that's fair. What are you gonna do? But you do get your full rotation other than where the armor is in the way. Same thing on this side. You have your ball hinge here, which gets the arm up horizontal. No problem at all there. I still don't think that extra little, I mean, it's fine. It doesn't hurt anything, but they could probably save their money and not do that, because that's not really enough range to make a difference. I mean, anything that's there that doesn't hurt the figure is good as far as I'm concerned, but when you're talking about budgets and cost versus results, I don't think that's worth it really. They could probably save their money and do something else. But either way, that's fine, it's there. Same thing on this side, just even less useful. But you do get your bicep swivel hidden by his tassels, and that's fine, that's well done. And then for the elbow, it's a single jointed elbow, which looks really good in neutral. No problems at all there. Very nicely done. And then when you bend it, you get 90 degrees and that ugly hippo of an elbow. And I don't like that. I get why they're doing it. It's less noticeable on this guy than it was on some of the other ones, but we still have, that's essentially our ratchet right there for the elbow joint. Nope. That's not great, that's for sure. It's not as bad as before, but it's certainly not a desirable outcome. I'd rather they make it look better bent than not bent. Whatever, they chose this. It's half good, half terrible, because it does look good this way and it's semi-functional. Whatever. Just realized I forgot to talk about his wrists, so if the lighting's a little bit different, it's because I'm filming this at a different time. We do have ball hinge wrists. They are fairly limited just due to the fact that we have armor on there, but you're gonna get as much range as you would expect out of any wrist. If you rotate it around, you get some. It's enough. It's fine. No real issue there. Perfectly standard wrist joint. So we have at least a single ball peg here and down here, so 2 different joints. I'm gonna kind of just use them together because it's very difficult to get in on just the little one without my thumb getting in the way, but you can kind of see the movement there, like that. So let me go ahead and back it out and you can see the overall movement, because the bottom one does do some range. So if you lean them all the way back, it's not bad. It's not the most we've ever seen, but it's okay. And then going forward, that's a lot more minimal. Not too much there. Side to the side is pretty good. That's about standard. He could be tighter, but it's not floppy, so that's all right. And then of course your rotation is going to be rotation-y. This is a nice soft piece, so it shouldn't get in the way too much. By the way, there's still more details going all the way around the back. I didn't really show all of it. They did a really good job painting that gold on top of that red with that wash. Oh, it's delightful. Anyway, for the hips, we have the same kind of hips as before for the most part. And they definitely could be tighter hips. They're not loose, but they're not tight. But you do get awesome range. Undoubtedly awesome range. Thigh swivel is a little bit more prominent there. A little bit better. Also, the leg shape is very nice overall. He is very stylized, but you do have the nice thigh to knee to calf to ankle ratios. Very well done. And as far as the knee joint goes, it's still turbo. It's functional, so I'll show you. You can bend the knee like that, so you get plenty of range. See? But the knee itself is just god-awful, ugly. Even if it wasn't the wrong color, the way they sculpted the part of the calf, I should say shin bone down there on the knee, it gives him a really weird lump. Don't do that. Just don't do it. They didn't do it up here, and it's better at the top. But just don't. Why is that extra lump there? That's a really, really weird choice. Don't do that. The knees are still very ugly. And then for his ankles, they did a thing which I don't understand why more companies don't do. You can use the ball hinge with boots. I mean, some companies do it, but most tend to not. It's not the most range ever, but that should be enough. You have a perfectly fine ankle rocker there, and then it does go forward plenty, and it goes back plenty, and it's fine. If you use a ball hinge properly, a nice big ball hinge, you're going to get plenty of range even with boot tops like this, so that's fine. That's really good. The toe hinge is pretty far back, and it's ugly, and it's floppy, so that's useless. Alright, so final verdict on his articulation. It's not the best we've ever seen, but for a chunky guy like this, and at this price point with the sculpt and the paint that we got on here, I think it's perfectly reasonable. I'll give the articulation an 8. And now for the final verdict. I personally love this figure. I'm very able to easily look past the downfalls, the problems with this guy, because it is gorgeous. It has a cool accessory. It's mostly done really well. Personally, I think it's just fantabulous. Objectively, we do have the issue with the knees, and that's mostly it. It's a pretty strong release. I am going, especially at the price point, at most you're going to be paying $25 for this guy at retail. Obviously, secondhand they might pop up pretty quick. But I'm going to give this guy, I don't know what the numbers I said already average out to, but sometimes the parts are worth more, sometimes they're worth less than the whole. As a whole, I'm giving this guy a 9. This is a really, really nice release. There's no doubt about it that this is a good figure. Unquestionable. This is exceptional. How can anybody buy this from McFarlane and the Batman and Superman and all the other ones that they released in Wave 1 and think those are good? I have no idea. If those are good, what is this? What is this? It's so much better. It's not even comparable. They're not in the same playing field. I wish I had one to compare, but I threw those away. No, I didn't really. I sold them to somebody who liked them, unfortunately for them. Anyway, this thing is just great. Absolutely great. I don't know what else to tell you guys. The fact that don't defend bad figures, I guess, is what I'm getting at. I didn't say anything yet. In my head, I was getting at it and trying to figure out a nicer way to say it, but don't defend bad figures, because then they just make bad figures. If you say bad figures are bad and then don't buy them, they'll make better figures because they have to sell. That's what their job is, to make things that sell. This is a good figure. Buy the crap out of this one. Don't buy any of the bad ones. They'll make better figures. That's the way it works. Trust me, it will work. It might take some time, but it'll work. Excellent release, guys. Pick it up if you can. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. What's it matter to you? And if you haven't subscribed, you probably should. New videos almost every single day. And for the days I don't, thousands and thousands already on the channel. Lots of Batman-related ones. Lots of them. Check out the Batman playlist. Anyway, come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.